Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever paused to think about how powerful you truly are? Inside each of us is untapped potential waiting, yearning to be unleashed. But too often we let excuses hold us captive. I don't have enough time, I'm not ready, or it's too hard. These are not truths, they are stories. Stories designed to keep us comfortable, but never free. Excuses are the barriers we create to shield ourselves from our own potential. It's fascinating, isn't it? The way the human mind, designed to adapt and conquer, sometimes builds walls instead of bridges. Every excuse begins as a whisper, a quiet justification that grows louder until it becomes a truth we believe. I don't have the time, we say. I'm not ready, we convince ourselves. Yet, if we peel back the layers of these statements, what do we find? Fear, doubt, a reluctance to face the unknown. Our potential lies beyond these self imposed barriers, but excuses serve as a shield, keeping us in the realm of comfort. They protect us from failure, yes, but they also prevent us from succeeding. Think of the moments in your life when you settled for less, not because it was all you could achieve, but because it felt safer than risking it all. That's the power of an excuse. It's not just a reason, it's a fortress, and within its walls, we stay small. The irony is that these barriers are not built by anyone else. They aren't external obstacles, but internal creations. They are thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions that we have the power to change. Yet, we hold on to them because they offer a certain comfort, a semblance of control. The mind is brilliant at crafting stories that justify why we can't instead of exploring how we can. And every time we buy into these stories, we distance ourselves from the vast reservoir of potential within us. Excuses can appear logical, even reasonable. I don't have enough resources. I wasn't given the same opportunities. While these may be true to an extent, they are not the final verdict. They're starting points, not destinations. The truth is, the world is filled with examples of individuals who have faced unimaginable odds and still found a way. What sets them apart is not the absence of obstacles, but the refusal to let excuses dictate their journey. They choose to see barriers as challenges to overcome, not as reasons to stop. What excuses do most insidiously is create a false sense of limitation. They make us believe that our potential has boundaries, that our dreams have ceilings. But the human spirit is not designed to be confined. Our very essence is to expand, to grow, to push beyond what seems possible. When we cling to excuses, we are not just avoiding failure. We are denying ourselves the chance to discover what we are truly capable of. It's not easy to confront this truth. It requires honesty, courage, and a willingness to dismantle the fortress we've built. It means admitting that we've been holding ourselves back, that the barriers we face are often the ones we've placed in front of us. This realization can be uncomfortable, even painful, but it's also liberating, because once we see excuses for what they are, we can begin to let them go. Every excuse you let go is a step closer to your limitless self. The moment you decide to release the crutches of excuses, you are opening the door to a world of possibilities. Excuses have a way of holding us hostage, convincing us that we're powerless, that we're not capable of more, that the life we want is always out of reach. But when you strip away those excuses, when you stop giving them power over you, you'll find that the only thing standing between you and your highest potential is yourself. Think about the last time you held yourself back because of an excuse. Maybe it was a reason you believed for why you couldn't go after a goal. Maybe it was fear or a feeling of inadequacy or a belief that you weren't worthy of success. At the time, that excuse felt very real. It felt like a legitimate reason to stop trying. But in truth, it was just a barrier, a defense mechanism designed to keep you safe, but also stagnant. Now, imagine what happens when you push past that barrier, when you stop feeding the excuse and take action anyway. That's when things begin to shift. That's when you start to tap into a deeper version of yourself, the version that knows no limits. When you stop making excuses, you're no longer playing by the rules of your old story. You're rewriting the narrative. And that's when you begin to realize that you've always had the power to create something extraordinary. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that circumstances dictate our outcome. But the truth is that we are the architects of our own lives. Every excuse you let go of is an act of reclaiming your power. It's a moment of self liberation, a step closer to the person you're meant to be. And with each excuse you release, you break free from the chains of limitation. Of course, letting go of excuses isn't always easy. The mind will resist. It will try to keep you comfortable in the known, even if the known is limiting. But the discomfort of growth is far more powerful than the comfort of staying stuck. It's like breaking free from a cocoon. Yes, the process is difficult, but the butterfly that emerges is free to soar. When you let go of excuses, you allow yourself to evolve into the person you've always had the potential to become. Think of the moments in life when you've broken free from an excuse. Maybe you've pushed through self doubt, taken a risk despite the fear, or stayed consistent even when the results weren't immediate. In those moments, you were becoming limitless. Each action taken, despite the excuses, proved to you that the only true limits are the ones you impose on yourself. Every excuse is a false belief, a limiting thought pattern that no longer serves you. By letting go of one excuse, you are proving to yourself that you are capable of stepping into your fullest potential. Each time you decide to move forward, regardless of what the mind tells you, you move closer to your limitless self. The mind will resist change, but discipline can overpower it. Our minds are wired for survival, not necessarily for growth. They thrive on routine, on patterns, on the familiar. Change, even positive change, is often seen as a threat because it challenges the status quo. It asks us to step outside our comfort zones, to take risks, to become something we've never been before. And yet, the very thing that will push us forward is the discipline to move through that resistance. When we try to change, whether it's adopting new habits, pursuing a new goal, or striving for growth, the mind initially resists. It will create stories that convince us why we should stay where we are. It will amplify our doubts, our fears, and our insecurities. It will tell us that we're not ready, that we don't have what it takes, or that the risk is too great. The mind does this because it's designed to protect us from discomfort and the unknown. But the truth is, this resistance is often a sign that we're on the verge of transformation. It's the mind's way of trying to keep us stuck in our old ways. This is where discipline becomes a powerful tool. Discipline is the force that allows us to push through the discomfort, to continue despite the mind's objections. It's the decision to show up, to take action, even when the voice inside our head is screaming at us to stop. Discipline doesn't rely on motivation, because motivation can come and go. Some days you'll feel like conquering the world, and other days you'll want to hide from it all. But discipline is the anchor that keeps you steady regardless of how you feel. It's the commitment to doing the work, whether you feel like it or not. The resistance from the mind can be overwhelming, but discipline teaches us how to overcome it. It's about creating a new pattern of behavior, one that is more powerful than the limiting thoughts that hold us back. And the more we practice discipline, the easier it becomes to override the resistance. The mind begins to recognize that, despite its protests, we're not backing down. The more you show up for your goals, the more you demonstrate that your commitment is stronger than your doubts. This repeated action creates a new neural pathway, one that says I can instead of I can't. But discipline isn't something that happens overnight. It's a muscle that needs to be strengthened over time. It requires consistency, patience, and persistence. It's not always glamorous and it doesn't always feel easy, but it's the key to unlocking our potential. The more you practice discipline, the more you realize that the resistance from the mind is just a temporary obstacle. It's a passing storm that can't withstand the steady force of your commitment. Change will always come with resistance, but it's through discipline that we can break through it. When we choose to persist in the face of resistance, we prove to ourselves that we are stronger than our doubts. We prove that our growth is more important than our comfort. And with each step we take, we move closer to becoming the person we are meant to be. Success begins where excuses end. The truth is, as long as we continue to make excuses, we keep ourselves stuck in a cycle of unrealized potential. Excuses are the comfortable lies we tell ourselves to avoid the discomfort of growth. They are the reasons we give for why we can't pursue our dreams, why we can't push through challenges, why we can't take the next step toward our goals. But the moment we decide to stop making excuses, that's when the real journey begins. The moment you stop relying on excuses is the moment you start creating results. Success doesn't come from finding reasons not to take action. It comes from taking ownership of your circumstances and choosing to move forward despite the obstacles. Every excuse is a justification for staying where you are. It's a shield that protects you from the vulnerability and fear that comes with growth. But when you release that shield and take responsibility for your actions, you open the door to the limitless possibilities that await you. Many people are stuck in the cycle of waiting for the right time, the perfect opportunity, or the ideal circumstances. But those things rarely come. Success doesn't wait for perfection. It happens when we decide to take action, no matter how imperfect the situation might seem. The more you wait for the perfect moment, the more you delay your progress. Success is born in the moments when you decide to act in spite of uncertainty, to move forward even when you don't have all the answers, to try and fail and try again. The biggest obstacle in the pursuit of success is the habit of making excuses. We convince ourselves that we don't have the resources, the skills, or time to succeed. But what we fail to realize is that these are just stories we tell ourselves to avoid taking responsibility for our own growth. The truth is, we all have the ability to create success. We just have to stop holding ourselves back with excuses. When you make the decision to stop making excuses, you take full ownership of your life. You stop waiting for external circumstances to change and instead focus on what you can control: your actions. You stop blaming others, the world, or your past for where you are, and you realize that you hold the power to change your life. Every moment you spend making excuses is a moment wasted. But the moment you decide to take responsibility, to stop letting excuses define you, is the moment your life begins to transform. Success doesn't happen in the comfort zone. It happens when you choose to step outside of it, when you choose to take risks, to challenge yourself, and to commit fully to your goals. The path to success is paved with discomfort, uncertainty, and failure. But each of those obstacles is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become stronger. And it all starts with the decision to stop making excuses. When you stop allowing excuses to dictate your actions, you give yourself the power to succeed, to achieve more, and to become the person you've always been capable of becoming. The limits we perceive are often illusions born from fear. Our minds are wired to protect us, and in doing create boundaries where none truly exist. We set limits on ourselves based on past experiences, societal conditioning, and the fears that arise from stepping into the unknown. These perceived limits are not a reflection of reality. They are projections of our internal fears, doubts, and insecurities. What we often fail to recognize is that the only real limits are the ones we place on ourselves. The truth is, the potential within us is limitless. Fear is the most powerful force that creates these limits. It's the voice that tells us we're not good enough, not capable enough to achieve what we desire. It whispers that the risks are too high and the rewards too uncertain. Fear convinces us that we need to play it safe, to stay within the confines of what we know and avoid anything that might lead to failure or discomfort. The reality is that fear thrives on uncertainty. And when we allow it to control our decisions, we shrink our world to fit inside a box. But what if we began to challenge these fears? What if we recognize that the limits we perceive are not permanent but temporary? The truth is that every limit we face is an opportunity for growth. Every time we step outside of our comfort zone and take action despite fear, we push beyond those self-imposed boundaries. The more we challenge these perceived limits, the more we see that they were never as strong as we thought. We begin to realize that what once seemed impossible is actually within our reach. Our perception of limits is shaped by the stories we tell ourselves. These stories are rooted in the past, shaped by failures, rejections, or societal expectations. We carry these stories with us and they become the lens through which we view the world. But what if we chose to rewrite those stories? What if we decided that our past does not dictate our future? What if we believe that we are capable of more than we ever imagined? When we shift our mindset from one of limitation to one of possibility, we open ourselves up to a world of opportunities. The idea of limits often becomes even more powerful when we start comparing ourselves to others. We look at people who have achieved great success and assume that they have something we don't, better resources, better circumstances, or better luck. But the truth is, success isn't about what we have. It's about what we're willing to do with what we've got. It's about taking consistent action, refusing to back down in the face of challenges, and believing that we are capable of achieving anything we set our minds to. The key to breaking through perceived limits is to recognize that they are not fixed. They are fluid and changeable. The moment we stop believing that we are limited by our circumstances is the moment we begin to break free from the chains that hold us back. When we face our fears head on and take bold steps forward, we begin to see that our potential is far greater than we ever realized. We are not defined by our fears or limitations. We are defined by our willingness to challenge them. Your mindset shapes your reality, and in a world where everything is constantly changing, your mindset is the one thing you can control. The way you think, the way you perceive challenges, and the beliefs you hold about yourself all play a critical role in determining how you show up in the world. If you believe that your potential is limited, that the challenges you face are too great, or that success is reserved for others, then that is exactly what you will experience. But if you adopt a mindset of possibility, resilience, and determination, you will begin to see that the only true limits are the ones you impose on yourself. When you operate with a fixed mindset, you are constantly fighting against obstacles, seeing them as barriers that prevent you from moving forward. You focus on what you don't have, what you lack, or what you think is standing in your way. This kind of thinking is rooted in fear and scarcity. It tells you that you don't have enough, that you are not, and that no matter how hard you try, there will always be something holding you back. This mindset creates limitations before you even begin. On the other hand, when you shift to a growth mindset, you begin to see obstacles as opportunities for growth. You understand that challenges are a natural part of the journey, and they are not roadblocks, they are stepping stones. Instead of seeing a problem and thinking, I can't do this, you begin to ask yourself, how can I do this? With this mindset, there is no failure, only feedback. Every setback becomes a lesson that moves you closer to your goal. When you adopt a mindset of growth, you understand that you are not limited by your circumstances, but instead empowered by your ability to adapt, learn, and evolve. Mindset is more powerful than any external factor. Your circumstances, your resources, and your environment may seem like they define your reality, but your mindset ultimately determines how you navigate those circumstances. Someone with a resilient mindset can thrive in adversity, while someone with a limited mindset will be paralyzed by it. The way you perceive the world is not based on objective reality, but on your interpretation of that reality. If you believe that everything is stacked against you, then that is the world you will experience. But if you believe that every challenge is an opportunity to grow and that you have the ability to overcome anything, then that is the reality you will create. A growth mindset does not mean ignoring the difficulties or pretending that challenges don't exist. It means approaching those challenges with the understanding that they are temporary and that you have the tools to overcome them. When you embrace a mindset of possibility, you begin to see that every setback is just a stepping stone on the way to success. You stop letting fear dictate your actions and start moving forward with confidence, knowing that the only real limits are the ones you choose to believe in. The power of mindset lies in its ability to influence every aspect of your life. It shapes your decisions, your behaviors, and the way you interact with the world. When you believe that you are capable of achieving greatness, you begin to align your actions with that belief. Your mindset becomes the foundation upon which you build your success. By choosing to think differently, to challenge your old beliefs, and to cultivate a mindset of possibility, you can create a life that is truly limitless. The power to change lies within you, but the real challenge comes in consistently tapping into that power, especially when things get tough. We all face moments in life when the road ahead seems overwhelming, and it can feel easier to give up, to stop trying, or to let go of the dreams and goals that once seemed so important. In these moments, it's essential to remind yourself that change is not just about big, grand gestures, it's about the small, everyday decisions that align with your ultimate vision. The power to transform your life, to break through limitations, is not in waiting for the perfect moment or the right circumstances. It's showing up every single day, despite the obstacles, despite the challenges. Consistency is a critical factor in this process. It is the act of showing up when motivation fades, when you're tired, when it feels like nothing is moving forward. Consistency builds momentum. It may not always feel dramatic or exciting, but with every small step, you are creating the foundation for big change. Too often, we underestimate the power of the small, seemingly insignificant actions. We think that success comes from monumental moments or breakthroughs, but in reality, success is built on the accumulation of consistent effort over time. It's about doing the work day in and day out, even when no one is watching, and even when the results aren't immediately visible. This is where discipline comes in. Discipline is the bridge between intention and achievement. It's the ability to stay committed to your goals, even when the initial excitement fades, when distractions arise, and when setbacks occur. Discipline is not about perfection, it's about resilience and persistence. It's about sticking to the plan, even when it's hard, and finding the strength to keep moving forward when everything within you wants to quit. The power to make consistent progress, regardless of how you feel, is the key to unlocking your potential. The journey of change often comes with frustration and doubt. There will be days when you feel like you're not making any progress, when the weight of your dreams feels too heavy, or when it feels like everything is working against you. In these moments, it's easy to question if it's worth it, to wonder if you'll ever make it. But this is precisely the point where many people give up. They stop showing up, they lose faith in the process, and they allow their doubts to dictate their action. However, the key to overcoming these moments is the realization that consistency doesn't require perfection, it requires faith in the process, even when the results aren't immediately visible. It's important to remember that growth doesn't always happen in a straight line. There will be times when it feels like you're taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back. But those moments of struggle, those moments of resistance are often the times when the most growth is happening. Consistency, even in the face of adversity, strengthens your character, builds resilience, and teaches you to trust in your own ability to push through. In the end, the power to create lasting change in your life comes down to your commitment to the process, to the daily actions, and to the consistency of your efforts. The journey won't always be easy, and the road will not always be smooth. But if you stay committed, if you keep showing up for yourself and your dreams, you will eventually look back and see how far you've come. The key to transformation is not in waiting for the perfect moment, it's in deciding to take action consistently, no matter what. The journey to success is not always smooth. It's filled with obstacles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But the truth is, those challenges are not signs that you should give up. They are signals that you are on the right path. Growth and transformation don't happen when things are easy. They happen when things are hard, when you are forced to dig deep within yourself to find the strength, resilience, and determination to keep moving forward. Hard times are often the catalyst for change. It's in those moments of struggle that you discover your true power. One of the most important things to remember is that difficulty is not the end of the road. It's simply part of the process. Too many people give up when things get tough, thinking that the difficulty means they are not cut out for success. But in reality, the struggle is a necessary part of the journey. It's during those difficult moments that you build the muscles of resilience, patience, and perseverance. Without these qualities, success would have little meaning. The hard times force you to evolve, to stretch beyond your comfort zone, and to tap into your untapped potential. It's easy to want to quit when things aren't going your way, but quitting is not the answer. Instead of focusing on how hard it is, shift your perspective and focus on what you can learn from the situation. Each challenge is an opportunity to grow, to develop new skills, and to strengthen your resolve. The times when you feel like giving up are often the moments when you are closest to a breakthrough. The key is to keep pushing forward, even when the path is unclear or the outcome uncertain. The people who succeed are not those who never face hardship, they are the ones who face it and refuse to let it stop them. When things get hard, it's also important to remember that you are not alone. Everyone who has achieved success has faced their own set of challenges. The difference is not in the absence of difficulty, but in how you respond to it. Successful people don't let adversity define them, they use it as fuel to drive them forward. They understand that hard times are temporary and that the strength they gain from pushing through will make them stronger in the long run. This mindset is critical to achieving success because it shifts your focus from the obstacles to the opportunities that lie within them. It's also crucial to recognize that the road to success is often a marathon, not a sprint. It's not about one grand moment of achievement, it's about the consistent effort, the small steps taken each day, even when the going gets tough. You may not see immediate results, and that can be discouraging. But it's during those hard moments that your perseverance and consistency are tested. If you can learn to stay committed to your goals, even when progress seems slow or the challenges seem insurmountable, you are building a foundation for long-term success. Finally, remember that it's not the hard times that define you, but your ability to navigate them. Your response to adversity shapes your character and your future. When you continue to move forward, even when it's hard, you prove to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever thought possible. The road may be difficult, but with each step, you are becoming stronger, more resilient, and more prepared for the success that awaits you. Thank you.